Hello, hello. Hi, I'm just kind of waiting for people to get in. Hi, Jamie. Gwen said that she had to go do some chores and she'd be back whenever she can. Hi, Karen. Thank you for being here. So, um, I'm Heather from Milk and Honey Heritage Farms. Thank you so much for being here. I'm writing down a channel name real quick. so, I thought as we wait, what I would do is I wanted to kind of do like a check in with everyone and see how you guys have been doing and what's going on. So I got my raised bed done. I have a video on that I did. I got some herbs planted in it. Um, oh my gosh, I've been just, trying to get my main garden ready. I'm trying to get all kinds of things done. I finally got all my bulbs planted in my orchard and just, just trying to do things. I'm gonna make some, I don't know how to explain, I don't have a picture nearby, but if you haven't ever seen like a bottom board for honeybees, it's just like the base that you set all the boxes on. So I've got it all cut out so I can put those together. So I'm making my own so that way if I get any more honeybee swarms that I will be able to set those up and stuff like that. Weed whacking and dehydrating tea. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of weed whacking too. Like my whole like muscles are kind of sore. So, yeah, just been super busy, like, after you get a good rain for a day or 2 or whatever, the grasses and stuff everywhere just grow crazy, so, like, around, like, some of my plants and things like that you can't just mow, I have to get in there with scissors and, carefully, get the grasses out and stuff like that. I gotta do my blueberries again and my raspberries, but it's always stuff to do every day. Jamie, thank you so much for sharing everyone's channels. I planted some herbs, some flowers, and put in some wildflower seeds, but it rained yesterday and today. Well, that'll be good for your seeds. Hopefully, that'll give them a good jump start into growing. I know I have a bunch of flower seeds that I want to get put out still. So I'll probably do that in the next couple of days and start getting that out. So, yeah, there's always something to do, like like for me, I don't know. I don't know if it's just me or if it's just how life is when you have, like, a farm or young children even. I, like, have to work on a little bit of a lot of things throughout every day because if I focused on one thing, I would never be able to get done, anything, and everything would get like, out of control and stuff like that. So, yeah, definitely. So, are you guys having any stresses or like concerns that you're like trying to get through or anything? Not that you have to share like anything too personal if you don't, I'm not saying that, but if you are, I'd like to give you prayers and hope that things get better other than us being struggling and all that. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you so much. Hi, Christy. Welcome in. We're just kind of talking about what we've been working on and, maybe some things that might be stressing us out or things, things. So, what are some things that you guys are going to focus on trying to learn this year? I know that, Jamie, I'm gonna just say it. Jamie wants to learn how to make butter, and so we've been talking about doing a live together, making butter together. So, we'll have to schedule that. That's gonna be super fun. Yeah. So we'll be doing that. I want to get better at making cheeses. I should be, so I have 5 mama cows that are pregnant currently that can drop babies anytime. And so I'm thinking, hi P&J, thank you for coming in. Happy Thursday. Yeah, so I'll be milking my one of my cows again. Last year was my first year that I started milking her, and her first year for being milked, and it went really well. And I try to make cheese, and well, I need more practice. So, anyways, but the milk was absolutely delicious, and I did make some butter, a lot of butter, and some other whipped cream and things like that. So, it's pretty fun. I made yogurt. I did that too. So, yeah, that'll be really fun, Jamie. We'll definitely set that up and do that together because it's pretty easy, and it sounds like you've got a KitchenAid. Okay, you can do the jar thing and shake your milk in there forever. Oh my gosh. But with a KitchenAid or a mixer. Hi, Nancy from our treasured home. Hey, Nancy, I have tomorrow I'm going to the post office to send you out some stuff. Hi, Tina at Life in the Piedmont. Yeah, we're just checking in right now with everyone and seeing what everyone's been up to and working on, and any struggles or anythings, anything that we might be wanting to. Yeah, you don't want to shake a jar; it takes forever. No, the KitchenAid or some kind of a mixer is absolutely the way to go for sure. Yeah. So it's been so I'm in Northwest Oregon, if you didn't know. Used to make yogurt for my little sister. She had to be I must be on a lot of strong and oh yeah, that's absolutely awesome. Yeah, it's so good. Like I like to make mine plain and then I just add jellies and jams to it and oats or whatever. Oh, yeah, I did my sourdough starter actually. I made so much sourdough starter, I actually ended up dehydrating it, so I've got tons of dehydrated sourdough starter that I need to get some little kind of, packaging, bought so that I can put the right amount of packages, so I'll have, um, sourdough starter dried that I can just get out, and I think once you, dehydrate it, it only takes a few days versus waiting the whole time to get it going, so that's nice. Pray for our son, he had an episode last week at work, and they had to call the rescue squad because his blood pressure was 184 over 103. It's still a little high, but not at that oh gosh. I'm sorry, Nancy. Hopefully, they can figure out, what caused that or what to do to fix it. That's hard. Yeah. He starts a new job tomorrow, so I'm praying going to a better job will help. Yeah, some jobs are just stressful. That's for sure. So, anyways, you guys can keep on adding anything that you're working on or stressing about. I didn't think of adding jams. Great idea. I made some granola. Yeah, I do that too. I made a big, huge gallon thing of granola and I add that in there. I might add a little honey or whatever you want, right? Heat 12. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you guys, so Jamie's sharing links to channels if people have channels in here. So go ahead and check them out if you haven't checked them out yet and see if there's something there that you would love to learn. I would love to make yogurt, but it has to be dairy free. Um, I don't know how you do that. That's a good question. So I raise I was gonna get on to something else, but, I raise, Dexter cows, Irish Dexter cows, and my husband's lactose intolerant. He can have, like, a little bit of cheese, but he can't do, like, milk and stuff like that. And so, when I was milking my Dexter cow this last winter, he tasted quite a bit of milk and was having, like, half a glass of milk every night and had no problems. And I've heard a lot of people who are lactose can drink Dexter dairy cow milk. Might not work for everybody, but it's worth a try. I don't know if you can find somebody that has those kind of cows. Yeah, I like them too. They all know their names. Well, like all my mamas in our bowl, they know their names. They come to their names. You call them and they come a running. So it's kind of cool. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to share some books with you because I thought that would be something. I don't know. I don't know. Somebody might want to know. Okay. So I picked up this book, Starting Seeds. It's a nice little book that has like all kinds of information inside for how to grow healthy, productive plants, vegetables, herbs, and flowers from seed. So there's an option for a book if you see it somewhere. I always look at the books to see if there's something that catches my eye, especially like at garage sales, estate sales, thrift stores, stuff like that. Um, this is a good book, and it's what it says. So, if you can see. So that's got some ideas on some things that you may be able to use. And we were speaking about making cheeses and stuff like that earlier. And so here is a really awesome book on cheese making. And so what I learned about cheese making is what you want to do is you want to master one cheese first before you move on to other cheeses. So that way you become more proficient, and I think it gives you the skills to kind of like what you need to look for, and it's easier to dive into another type of cheese. So there's some books that I thought I'd share with you guys today. And then, so you guys ready to get into making this barn quilt? Maybe, maybe. So, anyways, you can use any size of canvas or piece of wood or whatever you want to do this. It can go inside or outside, depending upon what you want. You can use quilting books. If you have quilting books, you can go online. I was sent by a friend a pattern for a quilt that I'm going to work on this winter, not right now. It's cut, my ink is running out, so it's a little blurry. They're honeybees. See that? So I'm going to make this quilt, and obviously you can choose whatever colors you want and stuff like that. And so I'm going to walk you through how I did my piece of wood to make this barn quilt. And I thought I would do the honeybees because I have honeybees. So I'll try to explain to you the best that I can how, and let's see if I can get this. Okay. You guys tell me if you can see okay, if that works. Okay. So what I did, hi Annie, welcome in. So what I did is I took a piece of plywood that I have laying around, and it's a 24-inch by 24-inch or 2 by 2, 2 foot by 2 foot, and it's not exactly evenly cut on the sides. I didn't realize that until I started making my grid. Anyways, I ended up using some chalk paint and painted this beforehand. So you'll want some sort of a base coat. painted on your surface. And again, you can use canvas or whatever you want in any size that you want. Okay. And so Cindy Squirrel Off Grid. Jamie, can you find Cindy Squirrel Off Grid? She is a YouTube channel and she made a barn quilt. And so she's got an open collaboration if you were interested in joining and making a barn quilt. So barn quilts were made long ago to kind of like show design and stuff like that on people's barns and stuff like that. So I didn't really look into the full on history of it, but they're really cool. I don't know if you've ever seen like driving out, I think maybe like in Amish countries and things like that. Amish countries, places. Maybe Jamie knows. People will have on their big old barns like these big pieces of plywood with, you know, a design of like kind of like a quilt. Okay. So I've been wanting to do this for years and years. So Cindy Squirrel Off Grid is doing a collaboration on this. So I thought, well, what a perfect way to do it, right? Okay, so what I did is I printed out my design, or you can just use the book, and it already has like a grid on it. So if you have a design that you want to use and it doesn't have lines on it, you can draw lines on it and make a grid. And this one has 7 squares across and 7 squares down. But you don't have to do 7. You can do 6 or 2 or whatever, right? So it's up to you. Anyway, so then what I did is I'm like, okay, I have 7 across and 7 down. And so I used my calculator and I figured out how far apart on my space that I have on my board, and divided it in by 7, so I knew how far apart to space each square. And so a ruler or a tape measure is very helpful. And so what I did on each end is I marked, it was 3 1/4. So what I did is I took a marker and I marked 3 1/4 on one end all the way across. And then I did that at the top, way at the top, I did 3 1/4. And then you can use a piece of cardboard or something with a straight edge and just line up where you did the dots on the top and the bottom and just draw a line. And then you'll do the same thing on the other ends, is mark out with your ruler, your tape measure. Mine was 3 1/4. I did on both ends 3 1/4 little dots, and then I again used a ruler or a piece of cardboard or something and made my grid. And it messed up, so there's kind of some double lines. Whatever, it's okay. We all mess up, right? You can also, instead of drawing them out, or if you're wanting to paint your lines, which I'm going to end up doing, is painting all my lines black. You can get some of this painter's tape and tape on either side, leaving like a little gap, and then put another piece of tape over here. And then that way you'll get a straight line of paint. See, that's pretty easy, right? So you can do that. And this tape you can get at the dollar store over in the tool area. So you don't have to spend a whole lot of money unless you've already got some of this laying around, which is a good idea because you never know. Also, I was thinking, so I can use paints. I can paint my design in all the squares if I want to. I'm going to use latex paint. You can use whatever paints you have. When paint was really inexpensive, like 50 cents at Wally World, I gathered like lots of different colors of paint. So hopefully I'll have the colors that I want to use on this. and then I'll put primer on it and seal it, and then every year you'll want to put a clear primer over it just to preserve it and keep it looking nice from all the weather and whatnot, right? Okay, and then but another option you can do is you can use, let me grab some, hold on a second, fabric. So or you can use paper. So you can use fabrics if you have fabric, and like in the, you can cut it out to the shapes that you want. So my squares are 3 1/4, so I'd cut 3 1/4 size squares, and you could use, yeah, it's messed up from crafting, Mod Podge to apply it. If you don't have Mod Podge, you can use white glue, like an Elmer's glue or something like that, and just add a pinch of water to it. Same thing. Okay. So you can do that, and you can use, whatever color scheme that you want of fabric. You can also use paper. Like if you have stationery, scraps of design papers and stuff like that. I have all kinds of little strings everywhere. I've been making a bunch of aprons lately. So I have like half the tables, all my sewing, and, so yeah, you can use fabrics. I was going to put this on some aprons like this. So what I do is I stitch around it on the apron, and I kind of fray the ends, and then I stitch on the inside so it doesn't fray further up. Isn't that cute? Yeah, isn't that fun? It's funny how people, hi Nanny Tam, thank you for being here. It's funny how people call different stores and things like that, like kind of the same names. It's weird. Like Target, like I used to call it Target. So, and, anyways, so you can use fabric, you can use colored papers, you can just use paint, or you can use a combination of all of them, right? So there's some options for you. So who's gonna make one? Are you guys? Are any of you inspired to make one? Like your pattern. So even if you picked a pattern that you liked some of the stuff on there, you don't have to do like. So like, okay, see if I can point right. So like these four squares right here, you can make that one big square and just use one color. Like you don't have to do all these little squares if you don't want to. Like you can make it not as complex, right? Isn't that cute? So I'm definitely not going to finish this on this video because, oh yeah, okay, Nanny Tam, I'll tell you, it's okay. So what I did is, so on this, a friend of mine sent me this pattern to make a fabric quilt because it's got bees on it. Isn't that cute? So I printed it out, I screenshot it and printed it out, and my ink's running out, so it's kind of faded, but it works. So there's 7 squares going across and 7 squares going down, right? And so my piece of plywood that I have right here, and you can use canvas, you can use a bigger board, you can use a smaller, whatever you got, right? And so my board is about 24 inches by 24 inches. And so I took 7, because it's 7 squares on my design, and I divided it into 24 inches. And that's how I figured out how to space my squares, like how big they needed to be on the space that I have. So with a ruler or some kind of a tape measure or something, you then do that math. And my math worked out to be 3 1/4. So then what I did is at one side right here, I did a little dot 3 1/4, and I just kept going 3 1/4, 3 1/4, all the way across, right? And then I went to the top of the board and did 3 1/4 with a dot all the way across the very top. Okay. And then I used, I have this kind of plastic ruler thing. You can use a piece of cardboard or something to draw your lines. And then I just lay it matching the dots that I made and lining up the dots. Sometimes if your area is bigger, you might want to do a dot in the middle. So that way you know that your whatever you're using to draw your straight line is lined up correctly. And then I just drew lines. And then, so we're going lines this way, 3 1/4 for my project. And then you go the opposite, let me get the right numbers, the opposite side, 3 1/4, marking little dots, 3 1/4 on the left side, maybe the center, 3 1/4 dots, and then the right side going 3 1/4 dots all the way up. Okay. And then you'll line up your ruler or cardboard or something to draw your lines straight. And then you just draw your lines going all the way up. And what you're making is a grid. So now if you have a picture that you want to do like a design and it doesn't have all these lines on it, you can make your own lines. So say, just in case you guys, anybody was confused, let's just say, can you see that? This heart is the design I want. We can pretend there's other stuff on there. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my own grid, and you can do as many lines as you want. So you can do 50 squares if you want, or, you know, a few, whatever. So what I'll do is I'll line up a ruler or, you know, cardboard or something. And so you're just going to make each of your lines the same distance apart. And I'm going 2 inches apart on this, which isn't going to balance out, but that's okay. We'll just get the general idea. And then you'll do the same thing, go in the opposite direction, and that creates your grid. So then it's easier to transfer your paint, your design, your paint, or paper. You can use colored paper like stationery, or what is it called, you guys? Crafting paper. I have a whole bunch of it too, and I meant to bring it to show you guys some ideas. You can use fabric or whatever. So now you've created that grid, right? And you can choose whatever colors you want in each square. And you know when you draw your grid on your canvas or whatever your surface is. So I pre-painted this with some chalk paint that I had laying around just to get a base coat. And then when you transfer your design, you'll know that this is square one. So you go to square one on your surface, on your board, and square one has, you can even write on there. So I want this one, let's just say, I'm making this up, I can't write upside down, blue, yellow, pink, purple. So you can write in all the squares what the colors are supposed to be that you want. So that way when you do it on your surface, that you know that square one's blue, square two's yellow. Does that make sense? So this is an open collaboration by Cindy Squirrel Off Grid. And I've been wanting to do one of these barn quilts for a long time, and she did that video, and I was like, yes. So it's going to take me a little while because I don't want to rush through doing it and mess up. So I'll start doing it here and there. But I think first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape off all my lines and I'm going to paint them black because I want it to highlight, I don't know, You know what I mean? So like these four squares right here, you don't have to do four different designs if you don't want to. You can do one big square instead of four, right? But so anyways, enough of that, right? And so you don't have, if you can paint perfectly straight lines, you don't have to tape it, but I know I cannot. So you're going to want to put your tape on either side of the, and I'm just going to do the lines going this way all the way across the board and then let it dry before I do the lines going the other way, because I'll get my hair and my elbows and everything in it, right? Yeah, so cool. I hope you guys try this, and you don't have to. I think Cindy Squirrel's board was like a 4x4 size, which is really large. But I had this piece of wood in my barn, and this is perfect because I don't have one of those big, huge barns. That would be so beautiful to have one of those old barns. Have you guys seen those pictures of those old barns? It's like a picture that shows all the different styles of barns that they have or have had, and it explains like what type of a barn they are. It's really cool, like all the different peaks and things like that. It's very cool. So currently what I'm doing is I'm taping on either side of my lines on my grid and leaving a little gap because I'm going to paint black um, lines to help my design pop. I don't know if I should probably be doing these last after I paint my design. We'll find out. It's a learning curve. Never made one. So, is this boring, you guys? I hope it's not too boring. So does anybody have any really exciting plans for the summer, or are you just going to be hanging out at home? We have huge Mennonite quilts painted on just about every business in our little town. Yeah, see, I thought it was something like that. That's really cool. I think they're really cool, and I think, like you might have a quilt at home. You could totally use part of the design on your quilt at home. Like maybe take a picture of it and use that design, that photo to make your design. Wouldn't that be cool? Like if you had um, grandma's quilt or something like that, or whatever, one that you made, and you could totally do that. That would be really cool. Or like if you went to like a fair or a store or something where you like saw a quilt that you loved, take a picture of it and then you could do this. Yeah, this board wasn't completely flush. Like it's not completely square. It's a little off. That's all right. Let's see. No, oh, I'm sorry, honey. Yeah, well, this can be a sewing project. You can totally do the same thing by sewing without the wood or the canvas. So this is a fabric quilt pattern that I'll be making this winter. but what I'm doing is a barn quilt, and barn quilts are hung on buildings and barns, and it's like taken from a fabric quilt design. Yeah. Jamie says, hanging out at home, go to daughter's pool and go kayaking with her and my grandson. Ooh, I need to go kayaking. I have a kayak. I need to go. I'm told each quilt has a heritage behind it with special meanings. Very cool. Yeah. So I had a quilt, but I let a friend borrow that needed it and I never got it back. Anyways, it had these like circular rings on it. It was really beautiful. Anyways, that was like a quilt that a lot of newlyweds, newly married couples would get. It was really cool. But I'm sure I can find a pattern and try and make one. I've never made like an actual quilt from a pattern, like out of fabric. I've put a quilt together out of my head from one of my daughters. Um, but yeah, I've never like done it like professionally or probably how you're supposed to do it. I don't know. Yeah. Summer plans involve mostly canning, but there are some outside things. Yeah, I'm going to be staying home mostly. Yeah, pretty much mostly, to take care of the animals and the plants and gardens and all that thing. Homestead in the Wood with Dee. Hi, Dee. Thank you for coming in. So I'm working on a barn quilt um, that can be hung inside or outside. So I'm just lining up and we're just kind of talking as I'm taping lines that I'm going to paint black. My summer plans are gardening, playing with my grandchildren, walking, and making some reading also. Oh, that sounds lovely. Yeah. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I don't like to travel really much anymore. Um Things are just wacky everywhere, so I kind of like to stay close to home. Yeah, we'll probably have a few barbecues. My dad um lives in Florida and he'll be 79 in July. He's gonna come for a visit, which um will probably be his last time that he gets to visit. So he was born and raised here in Oregon. And so I'm going to try as much as I can to get him out and getting to see. I lost my glue gun. Oh, that's not good. I have a couple glue guns somewhere. I know so like my craft, I have a room that was originally supposed to be my craft room, pantry kind of room. And I've had my children moving in and out of that room over and over. And so every time they would move into that room, my stuff would get boxed and bagged and tousled and tossed here and there and everywhere. So I'm still working on getting that all organized in there, so I can actually have everything set up because I do painting stuff, sewing stuff. Um, in my garage, I do have some cabinets that I bought from the resale store, some lower kitchen cabinets, and I painted them black. And then I have a top that I put on to where I can tile. So I've got the tiles that I got for free. So I just need to tile that, and that's where I'll do like resin. I want to do stained glass stuff. So I've got stained glass stuff to do that. So I have to have a kind of outdoor area to work on stuff like that instead of indoor area. But I do all kinds of things. I've got keychains that use resin, stuff like that, farm animals, and I do faux leather animal earrings, and I just do so many things. It's crazy. So I'm looking for some black paint. And I'm just going to paint these lines now. And I'm making sure that this tape is nicely pressed down so that it doesn't hopefully bleed outside of the lines that I taped up. That's the hopeful goal. Okay, move the hair out of the way. Oh, I have an antique chest of drawers that I am going to refinish to put in my kitchen to store my cookbooks in and utensils that aren't used often. I love doing that. I did that for a while before COVID happened. I had a little space where I redid dressers and things like that. It's fun. I like it. So I do have a couple of pieces in my barn that I didn't finish because rules and things just got so weird to be involved in events and at places and stuff. So I kind of put a lot of stuff on the back burner for a little while. Okay, so also at thrift stores and garage sales and stuff like that, I look for paintbrushes because they're kind of expensive. If you get, I mean, you can get them at the dollar store too. But I look for them because usually people don't worry about like having a lot of money for them when you buy them at thrift stores and stuff like that. I'm a bargain shopper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint one coat and then I'm going to paint a second coat. That way the black kind of is good. That's a good way to put it. That is so cool. So there was a gal that lived by me, like, I don't know, 15 years ago or something like that. She owned a house. Excuse me. Anyways, the people she bought the house from had a treadle sewing machine. And the lady that I got it from lived in that house for like 50 years. Anyway, so she had that treadle sewing machine for 50 years that was given to her by the original owners of the house. So I'm thinking that the original owners of the house with the treadle machine might have possibly been the original owners or close to it because it could be. So it's really cool. Anyways, she moved into another town not far from me and she gifted me the treadle sewing machine. But it's kind of cool because she gifted it to me not knowing that I lived in the same town where she got it. I hope I'm making sense. Anyways, it's kind of neat that it kind of circled back to its origination potentially. So I've got that. I've got to oil it up. First, I have to finish my craft room. But yeah, what I want to do is I want to make like a house on prairie kind of type dress with it so that it's kind of like really, I don't know, authentic, maybe is the word. I don't really know how to do it, but I'm going to try. I've got patterns and stuff like that. I actually have a newspaper clipping a gal sent me of a bonnet back when they used to put in the newspapers. Like, I have to look at the date. I'll have to show you guys one of these days. It's like the instructions on how to make bonnets back when they made bonnets to wear. And it's from Oregon. It's really cool. So I'll have to show you guys that one of these days. My mother-in-law and father-in-law owned an upholstery shop for 40 plus years. What? My husband and I used to refinish the wood when they wanted it done. Oh, that's cool. Did you get... Hi, Yaya's Best Life. Welcome in. I'm working on making a barn quilt. that can go inside or outside. So I'm just kind of painting some black lines. This is the design, which is a fabric quilt pattern of honeybees. And so I made a grid, and I'm just kind of like going slowly, and we're just talking about different stuff like that. So I'm really excited to be able to sew on that treadle sewing machine, but I definitely know it won't be this summer. It's not going to happen this summer. Um, so that'll probably be something in the winter, like November, December type thing. So, but I'm excited. I'm glad that I have that. And then I have a Singer sewing machine that I bought from somebody used that I currently use, but I also have an older Singer sewing machine that I bought um, for like $7 from a guy that buys storage lockers. And a friend of mine cleaned it out and it works just fine. $7 for a sewing machine, right? It'd be really so. I would like to get one of those machines that you can make your own patches, like design my own like patches that I can sew on, like of little bees or cows, things like embroidery machine. So that costs a lot of money though. Someday, someday. Yeah, I went there was a lady in a like about an hour away that was selling. She lived in an old school building, and she had oh my gosh, it was like, okay, so it was like the biggest part of the school, like the gymnasium or something of it, filled with rolls of upholstery fabric of all different designs and styles. Oh my gosh. And she was selling a whole roll of this upholstery fabric for $20 a roll. So we went out there and I got 5 rolls of it. And so I'm going to cut a piece off and measure it and throw it in the wash on a cold wash and see how it does, to see if it shrinks or anything, because I want to make some cute coveralls and um, like some bags and things like that for like foraging and stuff like that. I got one of my fabrics that I got has like Marilyn Monroe and like some of those people from that time period on it. It's really cool. Oh, and one that I'm really excited about has wines on it. So it has like some grapes and wine bottles, and it says elderberry wine. And I'm like, that is awesome. So I will be making something with that for sure. So I painted my lines. How exciting! I'm gonna wait just a little while, let it dry just a pinch. I'm gonna share an idea with you guys that I have. I've been looking online for a little while on how to make my own, and I said it, I think I said it on my last live, how to make my own labels for clothing or bags, things like that. So let me grab what I think I'm going to use. Where is it? Aha! I got it. Don't go away. Okay, so maybe if I fan this, it'll dry out a little bit. I'm going to try not to get black paint on myself and move you guys up so you can see my face. Okay. Almost. Hold on. One more time. Okay. All right. Okay, so I was looking online, and in the past, I've made my own fabric labels using silk ribbon and a Cricut machine. Well, when you type words on there, they're itty bitty 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 tiny, and to weed out all the little pieces in between all the letters and things like that is very tedious. And then try to iron them out. Oh, yeah, that was a lot. Right. So I saw this other one where you use these white fabric transfer papers, and I got this at Wally World. And then I got, what is it called? Ribbon. That's all it says is ribbon. Anyways, a white silky ribbon. And so I'm going to use, because I have a Cricut machine, my Cricut to design, like put my page name on it and print it out on this and then iron it on here. And this has like a protective film that goes over the top of the ink. Says to use your regular ink from your printer. So I'm gonna give that a try because it might be a lot easier than using like the Cricut vinyl iron on vinyl stuff and having to weed all that, right? Yeah, so that'll be cute. I was kind of thinking about going with like a beige to make it look more rustic, but we'll see how it goes. I got to get more ink for my printer first, but I'll probably do a video with you guys so you guys can see how it works. Yeah, it's so cool. I'm excited. And my husband's like, so if that doesn't work, that means ordering out. And I'm like, probably, but I don't really want to like spend the money. I try to be as frugal as I can, right? And obviously, you have to have the money, so it takes longer to get some of your things that you need for your plans. But I prefer to be able to make them myself. So I'm just going to paint another coat on this board. So do you guys have any great plans this weekend? Oh, what was I saying? Oh, I already told you guys that my dad's going to come for a visit. When's he coming? End of June or July? I think end of July. I wrote it on the calendar. Anyways, I'm going to try to take him to the Oregon coast. You know, he can't do long walking and stuff like that, but I'm going to try to, take him around and let him see some of the stuff. There's a park here in Oregon called Oaks Park. Actually, I have a video on it. It's been around for over 100 years, and it's like a little. It has rides and things like that. And he used to go there a lot as a kid and a teenager, and so I thought maybe I could take him there. Not that he's gonna ride. He can't ride any rides, but you know, or walk very far. But at least we could like maybe drive over there and just kind of have a quick look around type thing. So trying to get, let him see things that he might not get to ever see again. So I know it makes him really sad, but it is what it is, right? No, I work on Friday and Saturday, rest on Saturday. Yeah, so for me, like, you know how it's like, yay, it's Friday, woohoo, last day of the work week. For me, it's like, Monday through Sunday. But I do take little breaks here and there throughout the day just so that I don't get overwhelmed. And yeah, I'm going to be doing lots of canning as well and drying things out, dehydrating. I'd love to have a freeze dryer. I'm retired, but went and got a little part-time job. So they got me working this weekend for a few hours, and I'm starting a 3-day watermelon fast. Oh, I saw that you were doing that. That sounds cool. So you just eat watermelon and drink water? Is that what you do? I did the, cabbage soup diet with my friend one time. I lost 20 pounds in 2 weeks just eating cabbage soup. Yeah, I don't want no more cabbage soup, I'm telling you that. Uh, yeah, I need to, so I have that hot and cold drinks collaboration that's open. If any of you guys wanna enter in, like, a hot or cold drink video of some kind of a drink that you make at home, do that so that we can all share some ideas of some things that healthy or unhealthy or healthier, or at least save us some money on making some fun drinks at home, right? And so I was thinking, so what do you guys think about me doing a live with you guys, or should it just be a video? I was thinking about talking about how many cans, either by canning it or like cans that you buy from the store, would it take for a year? Like doing the math, like sitting down and figuring out, like, for instance, like tomato sauce was my idea to use for an example, whether you can it yourself or you buy the tomato sauce in cans. How many would it take, and how to figure out how much it takes to feed your family and, like to have for a year type of thing. I was reading Jamie's comment. I'm like, "Ugh." Oh, I still got to do that video. Oh, yeah. You'll get it. You'll get it. Don't stress over it. Anyways, so I was thinking about doing that. Do you guys think that that would be beneficial to kind of, it's not like to scare anybody because it can be really overwhelming, but it's definitely a goal maybe that people might want to work on, and just so that you have an idea, because I think like sometimes when you're just starting out, preserving food or putting food up, however that looks for you, you might not have an idea, you know, and just to kind of get like some sort of an idea and to get some inspiration, and some feedback on how to slowly work on that. Do a live so you can get more watch hours. Okay. All right. Yeah, so I thought I might do it on the floor in my kitchen so I can show you guys my pantry cabinet, or I'll just take a picture of it and use it as the thumbnail of my tomato sauce. But I'll have some examples too, of like canned stuff, your own canned stuff or stuff like that. Okay. Then that way we can get an idea. And I thought I'd just use, did I get, okay. I thought I got paint in my hair. Yeah. So, how long have we been on here? I don't even know. It doesn't tell me. How long have we been on here, you guys? I don't even know. 2 days later, right? Trying to find a place to put the paint. So I'm just gonna do this, and then once this is completely dry, I will tape the. Is it pretty? Once the black paint is dry, then I'll tape the going the other way, and then I have to decide whether or not if I'm going to paint my design on all the squares of the grid, or if I'm going to use paper or fabric. I might do a combination. It should show you at the top. Oh, I see it now. Oh, I'm almost, wow, that went quick, you guys. It's like an hour already. So I will end up doing a video. It's going to probably take me about a week to get this done, but I'll show you a video of the progress. And I just today what I want to do is just help get you guys set up and maybe hopefully inspire you guys to do one. So that was Cindy Squirrel off grid. If you want to join her open collaboration and make one of these, you don't have to use a plywood. It doesn't have to be ginormous. It can be whatever size you want. It could be for indoor or outdoor. I mean, you could totally do like a collage of like canvases or something for your house too, right? Isn't that cool? Yeah. Okay. So I think what we'll do is next week we'll talk about what it looks like to preserve some foods and how much it takes. And I'm going to try to make sure that, I remind everyone not to stress about it. It's just a goal to work on. And yeah, we'll do that because that's what, our grannies and grandpas used to do, right? From one season to another season. So I hope you guys do that. Do this. I'm gonna ask you next week if you're doing the barn quilt because I really want to see what you guys are doing and what designs you guys pick if you're doing it. So I guess I will let you go because we're at an hour and I know you guys are all super busy and I thank you so much for being here and supporting me. And same place next week, same time, and we'll talk about some preserving some foods and what we need to put up. So you guys all have a beautiful day. I have to get over to my computer without getting paint on me. I don't want to get paint on me. So anyways, thank you guys so much for coming in. Check each other's channels out. If you haven't already, have an amazing day. Have a wonderful weekend. And I'll see you on the next one.